Hello students. So today's topic for multiple choice question will be digestion and absorption. So first question, mucosal layer in the stomach form irregular folds known as rugae. So mucosal layer is a layer which you have studied in the cross section of gut. So what is the layer is first mucosa will come, then submucosa, then the muscular layer, okay, circular and longitudinal muscles, and then finally serosa. These are the different layers present in the gut. So in that, if the mucosal layer will fold in which region? Stomach region. If mucosal layer will fold in stomach region, then answer will be rugae. Okay. Whereas the mucosal layer in intestine forms what kind of folds? It forms villi. But in this question, they have asked about the stomach. So answer will be rugae. Okay. But instead of stomach, if the intestine was written, if small intestine is given, then the answer would have been the villi. So they are irregular folds. Now, what is the important? What are crypt of lubricant? It is the glands that secrete succus entericus along with Brunner glands. Lumen is the cross section of the gut will release a tubular gut is the empty space in which the food flows. Food flows that is called as the lumen. And now, what is rugae? What is the importance of rugae? Rugaes will disappear when stomach is full. And rugae will again appear when it means the function of a rugae, it will help to accommodate more amount of food. That means more amount of food can be held in the stomach because of the rugae. Renin, this you should know, it is double N-ion. There is one more renin, R-E-N-I-N. That is actually the hormone. Got? That is actually the hormone. Now, renin is secreted by which part of alimentary canal? It is secreted by stomach. Okay. And that too, renin is conspicuous in children. So in children, it is help in digestion of milk. How does it help in digestion of milk? It will help in curdling of milk. So here you can see, however, the one that is released by kidney is nothing but renin, and that is a part of renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. Now, of course, duodenum has its own has its own enzymes to be released in small intestine. In fact, the proximal part of small intestine, remember, proximal part of small intestine is duodenum. So, hardest part in animal body will be the outer covering. Got? So, this outer covering is what? It is called as enamel. And enamel, it is the most outermost part of what? Tooth. Or teeth, you can tell human teeth. The outermost covering is a very hard, and it is known to be the hardest substance in the human body, and that is enamel. Just below enamel, there is a second material that is also second hardest substance. This is the second hardest substance is dentin. Whereas hair is rich in keratin and bone is rich in calcium salts. Now enamel here it is released by certain cells called ameloblast, and there are other cells also called odontoblast. So they are this ameloblast will secrete the enamel. and intestine is the second hardest substance. One more cell I already told, it is called as odontoblast. The next students, it is actually reverse flow food that you have to note it down. This is what is nothing but the reverse flow. So when there is a reverse flow, suppose this is the stomach, got, and in the food will inside the stomach is going to flow in a single direction here, like this from here. Okay, so usually reverse flow is only in case of say vomiting, the food will go in reverse direction. So now how is that reverse direction of food is prevented? Okay, this reverse direction is also called regurgitation. Regurgitation. That means they can also, they are asking here, how is the regurgitation of food prevented? Or how is the reverse flow of food prevented? Okay. Now you should know that there are two sphincters here. One is cardiac sphincter, another is pyloric sphincter. So from the stomach, if food is going in reverse, means the sphincter that is going to prevent is this cardiac sphincter. So it is also called gastroesophageal sphincters. So what you should know, the answer here, the correct answer will be which one? The cardiac sphincter. Pyloric sphincter is present in pylorus region, that is at the junction of stomach and duodenum. Ileocecal sphincter at the junction of ileum as well as cecum. And uvula is a structure that can prevent the food particles from entering into the nasal cavity while swallowing. Okay, it is an extension of the soft palate. Okay, soft palate further extend into a structure called as uvula. Right now the answer will be what? Cardiac sphincter. Cardiac sphincter is also called gastroesophageal sphincter. So correct answer is third one. So here, which of the following is regarded as source of instant energy? Now, instant energy means what? There is no need of digestion, no need of any enzyme acting on it, nothing. Directly absorption occurs. That means directly in the intestine, what occurs is direct absorption occur. Is there any food? So among you know that there are three major components of food material. One is fat, another carbohydrate and lipids. These are the three primary metabolites in our body. So in that, which can act as an instant source, all these requires digestion. Fat requires digestion. So this is not an answer. Fat here requires digestion. Minerals and vitamins, they are supportive to the, they are only the micronutrients required in very less quantity. Now the only one which can act as this is carbohydrates. Do you think all carbohydrates will act as an instant energy, source of energy? No. The one that acts as an instant source of energy, and that will be glucose. Okay, and not even sucrose. Now, if I say sucrose, why it's also carbohydrate? Why it is not an instant energy? Because sucrose is in turn made up of what? Fructose plus, okay, glucose plus fructose. What? Now, it means that the bond between the glycosidic bond in the sucrose has to be broken so that it will form fructose and sucrose. Okay, so that it is directly absorbed. Got? So therefore, glucose is the instant source of energy. Now, what is this glucose and simply absorbable kind of biomolecules? Means they are actually carbohydrates. So answer will be third one. Which combination is responsible to increase cholesterol level? So cholesterol level in your body can increase due to consumption of fats. When fats are consumed, then cholesterol concentration in the body is going to increase. So which is a fat here? Saturated fat. Yes, due to this cholesterol increase. But proteins will not increase the cholesterol. Means their level cannot be increased fast here. Then second one, here you can see unsaturated. Unsaturated compared to saturated fatty acids, unsaturated can also increase when the quantity becomes high. But here again protein is not an answer. See, both saturated and unsaturated. So here what happens, this can be a correct answer. Now saturated fat plus polyunsaturated fatty acids. So polyunsaturated fatty acids are also abbreviated as PUFA. Here what happens is they are actually good. They do not allow the increase in cholesterol. Because of this, again, it is the fourth option is cancelling. So therefore, for proteins, the first, second is cancelling. The nearest answer you should see. Your approach is to trying to select the one which is the nearest answer. So correct will be both saturated and unsaturated fats. So what is the function of buccal cavity? Now they are not asking what is the function of the enzymes of buccal cavity or buccal cavity. Here what they are asking is in buccal cavity, which is the phenomena occurring. So answer will be what? Mastication of food. So you know that as the food is consumed, it is going to be chewed. This chewing of the food is called as a mastication. Now mastication is one of the physical, it's not a chemical digestion, but it's a physical digestion where large food particles are stored into smaller ones. Now digestion of fat. See here in buccal cavity, digestion of fat is highly negligible. So it is mainly the mastication. Okay, buccal cavities, what occurs phenomena is the mastication. Okay, digestion of fat is very negligible or almost nil. So you're not considering the second one. So answer will be which one? The first one. So when first one and even it won't be both A and B and number. So next is Glisson's capsule. It is a connective tissue that covers, it's a capsule you can tell. So as the name indicates, Glisson's capsule, a connective tissue covering of the liver. And you should know that liver is subdivided into hepatic lobules. Now, not only liver, even hepatic lobules, the units, these are the units within the liver. So it is both liver as well as hepatic lobules. Both will be covered by Glisson's capsule. Understand all of you? So Glisson's capsules are found in as a capsule or as a covering for the liver. And liver is further divided into hepatic lobule. Even that is covered by Glisson's capsule. So both liver and its constituent hepatic lobule, both will be having this Glisson's capsule. Then what else you should know is this Glisson's capsule is only found in mammals. Okay. So whereas kidney also has a capsule, testis also has a covering. So therefore, in that, Glisson's capsule is relevant to liver. Examination of blood of a person suspected to have anemia. Right now, you should know already it is given directly that what is given? Anemia is given. Shows what is the symptom? Immature nucleated RBCs are there. Hemoglobin is not there. So which supplementing, what kind of a diet can overcome this anemia? You'll already know that iron compound. Why? Because iron is an important metal during synthesis of hemoglobin, because hemoglobin at the center itself is made up of iron. So therefore, in order to alleviate this symptom is what? Overcome the symptom. Okay, how these symptoms will go off. So that will be due to iron compounds. So iron compounds can work. You should also know that folic acid cobalamin also useful in RBC production. But when anemia is severe, this may affect RBC production. But when anemia is severe, that time it will be iron compound. However, this is vitamin B1 and this is vitamin B2. Vitamin B1 can cause conditions like beriberi and riboflavin. Deficiency in riboflavin can cause cirrhosis. Deficiency of B1 can cause beriberi. So this was about the anemia, which can be overcome by iron compounds. And when iron compounds are taken, it will alleviate the symptoms and resolve symptoms will go. That means supplemented along with the diet, supplements of iron has to be taken in order to alleviate the symptoms. So, by which process end products of milk sugar in small intestine is? Okay. Now you should know milk sugar is there. So, milk sugar is called as what? Lactose. Now, what is milk protein called? Casein. Like that, milk sugar means it is called as lactose. Now, lactose is made up of glucose. Another combination is galactose. Now, glucose, galactose, amino acids, they are absorbed by active transport. So, active transport here, passive transport, there is no requirement of ATP. Well, active transport requires ATP. Whereas facilitated transport also does not require ATP, but it requires a carrier. It requires a carrier molecule, which is a protein present on the membrane. For example, this is the membrane. On the membrane, there is a carrier protein that will help for transport without the requirement of ATP. Osmosis is to do with the movement of what? Water molecules. So correct answer will be second one. Now frenulum. Okay, it's a membrane, thin membrane. Now what is it called? It is a fold by which tongue is attached to floor of oral cavity. You know, oral cavity is also called what? Buccal cavity. Now this is correct. It is adenoid, a kind of tonsil. So it is not correct because it's not a tonsil. It is a membrane. It's a fold of a membrane. It is a tonsil again. This also is wrong. It is a furrow that divides the tongue also will be wrong. It is a membrane that connects the tongue. So that means just as the base of the tongue in the center, there will be what? The thin membrane will be there that will connect this tongue to the buccal cavity, that too to the floor of buccal cavity. So the correct answer will be what? The first one, frenulum. Elephant tusks are incisors. Directly you should know that they are incisors. And what you should know is they usually keep continuously growing. They continuously grow in case of what? Elephants. So elephant tusk keeps growing and they are actually the modification means extensions of the incisors. Crypt of lubricant is an example of simple tubular gland. So it means that crypt of lubricant here, if this is the intestine, so consider these are villi. Now in between the villi, there are some spaces called as crypts. Crypts means it appears as if it is nothing is there, but there are deep structures present. That is called as a crypt. So this is called crypt of lubricant. Crypt of lubricant further can be connected to Brunner gland. Now here, this is lubricant, this is Brunner gland. Now this one is the simple tubular gland. Okay, like sweat gland can be coiled and here it can be Cowper's gland, compound alveolar gland, mammary glands like that. This is a simple tubular glands. Okay, that means a single tube will be there, this one. That much, that's all. Single tube is supposed to be present. Which of the following enzyme digests protein in the stomach? So main in the stomach, the major food material that is digested in the stomach is protein. Okay, whereas fat digestions are very negligible or almost nil, and there is carbohydrate digestion. But protein is majorly digested in the stomach. Now, which is that enzyme? You know that trypsin will act in the intestine. Intestinal protein fraction of that acts on peptones. Protein fractions of intestinal juice that acts on the peptones and convert into amino acids, but now the only one that is secreted in the gastric glands is an enzyme called as pepsin. What you should know is this pepsin will be released in an inactive form called pepsinogen, and later on it will convert itself into active pepsin. So this is inactive form and this is the active form. Now this will be taking with the help of HCl. Okay, so pepsinogen is converted into pepsin. Now what this pepsin does is this will further digest the proteins into proteases and peptones. So what pepsin does? Pepsin is converts proteins into peptones plus proteases. Peptones plus proteases it is going to get converted. And you should know this pepsin, it is initially secreted by inactive. It is released by sheath cells or peptic cells of gastric glands. Substrate of an enzyme. You should know that enzyme, now if I write in between while representing, what is the function of an enzyme? This is an enzyme. So it will convert substrate to product. Now what is the substrate of amylase there are? Now you should know what is the substrate and what is the product. So substrate of amylase is what? Starch. And what is the product? Product is maltose. So correct answer will be starch. And you should know amylase is also called talin. And the amylase of the salivary glands as well as amylase of the pancreas will be amylase of salivary glands and amylase of pancreas will be what kind? The lysozymes. Okay, which one of the following pairs or kinds of cells, and this is the, so here this column they have given the cells, this column is a secretion. So which is the one that is correct, not the incorrect ones? Which is the one which is correct? Here this side are what? Cells. This side what is given here? The respective secretion. So first see, oxyntic cells, it will secrete the secretion of which with a pH 2 to 3. So if the secretion of oxyntic cells makes the solution acidic, that makes fluid inside there acidic. Alpha cells of islet of Langerhans, glucagon. Glucagon will increase the glucose concentration, but they are given here decrease, means it is wrong. Kupffer cells, they are actually phagocytic cells. So phagocytic cells does not have a digestive function, so it is wrong. Sebaceous glands, they release sebum. Okay. Now sebum is a oil or fat. It will not evaporate and cool the system, but sweat will cool the system. So when sweat is released, when sweat evaporates, then it causes the cooling effect. But here they are telling sebaceous glands will cause cooling effect. It will be wrong. So correct answer, which is near among all the four, is the first one. So here, in which form? Okay. So first they are telling fats are synthesized and then liberated in the intestinal wall. Finally, they reach the liver. So you know that there is a epithelial cells are there. So what happens? Think that already digested fats will go inside the cells, and inside the endoplasmic reticulum they get resynthesized into fat droplets, and these fat droplets will get coated with protein and glycerol and all, and this protein coated fat directly can enter into lacteals. Okay, but they cannot enter into what? Blood vessels. So therefore these protein coated fat droplets are called as what? Chylomicron. So therefore answer will be what? Therefore answer will be chylomicron. So what is there? Consider this is a protein coat. This coat is made up of protein. Here whatever I have drew, and inside will be a fat droplet. Okay, fat droplet. Then it will be called as chylomicron. And you should know many a times along with protein what also can be coating the same fat droplet as what? Glycerol. So the correct answer is second one. So chylomicron. So chylomicron is absorbed. So the difference is first one. So, excuse me, first is when substance is absorbed, ultimately they should go to blood or lymph. So before suppose the substance is there, it should cross this apical membrane, then inside the cell, then basal membrane, then finally at the blood or lymph. So basically it is transported from lumen to ultimately blood or lymph. Now, which are different ways? Already explained. Without energy, passive. With carrier molecule, facilitated. With ATP, active. So, by all these means, that means the transport can occur by all these. All this methods. Now, the vitamin synthesized by the bacteria can be both say vitamin B and K, and also here option will be. So, these bacteria which is present in the intestine can produce both vitamin B and K. So here among the options you have to select. Now so vitamin D, where is it produced? So vitamin D is basically what do you call it? Vitamin D is produced in the with the help of sunlight. Okay, as the person gets exposed to the sunlight, the vitamin D is produced in the skin. Okay, and it is a fat soluble vitamin. You should know that vitamin D is a fat soluble vitamin. So correct answer is skin, and this requires the help of sunlight. Then only it can trigger what can trigger the synthesis of vitamin D can be triggered. And vitamin D is also useful for development of bones. By which process glucose amino acids are absorbed in small intestine? Glucose amino acids both are absorbed by water. Active transport where ATP is required. Got passive transport will be say in that simple diffusion will be there, osmosis will be there like that, facilitated diffusion. All those passive transports can be fats or fructose or water. Osmosis is movement of water, and selective absorption. Selective absorption is only particular. This is not a specific transport method at all. Okay, so therefore correct answer will be now the first one. Continuous bleeding from an injured part of the body. So here continuous bleeding is there. So what is there? Bleeding. That means why there is a continuous bleeding? There is a clotting is not occurring. So defective clotting process. Okay, when there is a defect in clotting process, you should know that a person is normal genetically. Okay, he has all the normal genes, but problem is there is no clotting. There is a slow clotting of a blood, because of which there can be continuous bleeding from the injured part, and that can be due to vitamin that helps in clotting process, and that is vitamin K. Certain clotting factors are synthesized by taking help of vitamin K, the liver. So therefore, one of the vitamin that is useful in clotting is vitamin K. Okay, chymotrypsin is an enzyme. Okay, where it is produced? It is produced in duodenum. Excuse me. Chymotrypsin is produced by pancreas. So trypsin, chymotrypsin, whereas enterokinase is produced in the small intestine. Okay, bile is produced in the liver, and stomach produces gastric juice. Chymotrypsin is a protein digesting enzyme. Digest the protein. Now you see enzyme present in saliva. So saliva is as a result of which gland? Salivary gland. Now it's called as talin. I already told that amylase is also called as what? Talin. So amylase. Which amylase it is? Not pancreatic amylase, it is salivary amylase. So salivary amylase, pancreatic amylase, what is the difference? They are isoenzymes. So maltose, maltase is an enzyme in intestinal juice. This is also an enzyme in intestinal juice. This also is, okay, that acts on, this acts on sucrose. This is acts on inward sugar. This acts on sucrose and this acts on maltose. So these are the different. Now, in adult, curdling of milk. Okay. In adult, the curdling of milk it is. So here, curdling of milk in child is basically due to what do you call? In child is due to renin. In adult, some role. It is not exactly like renin. Remember, trypsin is not exactly like renin and very efficient in functioning. Okay, it might, to a certain extent, the digestion of milk proteins can be occurring due to milk proteins can be digested due to, you can tell, rather than telling curdling. Okay, so in adult they are not so efficient enough in curdling of milk, so digestion of milk proteins to a certain extent can occur due to trypsin. Okay, so and therefore renin is in children. So here you can see in mammals, teeth are what? What kind of a teeth? Only two sets are there. Two sets means diaphyodont. Embedded in socket. Socket means thecodont. Different types are there means the shape is different. Okay, size is different. Structure and all will be different. So that is called as what? Heterodont. Okay. So therefore, first should be diaphyodont. Second should be thecodont. Third should be heterodont. So correct answer is the second one. See here, there's a correction here. Other exams were given here. So you, from among the options, this will be asked. That is, what are chymotrypsinogen? And so you can see that there is a question of a word called GEM. That means still it is in which form? It is an inactive form. Once it becomes chymotrypsin means it is active. Here also trypsin means active. Trypsinogen means inactive. Chymotrypsin means active. Chymotrypsinogen means inactive. So basically, you have to not select the one which is saying as active here. You should select the one which is inactive. So in this you can see here it is given gastric juice, because of which the first one is wrong. So correct answer will be in pancreatic juice. So this is the correct answer. That is, correct answer is what? The inactive enzymes of the pancreatic juice. See, a diagram below shows how things get into or from the liver. They are labeled. So A is labeled, B is, all these are labeled. Among them, which of them is correct? They are asking. So which is the one that is correctly labeled? Now you see A is hepatic portal vein. Now here direction is shown towards the intestine. Now this is what is pancreas, and this one will be intestine. So this is particular structure is what? It is an intestine. So A is hepatic portal vein. So A cannot be hepatic portal vein because hepatic portal vein takes away the blood, that means collects the blood from the intestine and then lead to liver. So which is collecting is D. So D is hepatic portal vein. So this will work. C is intestine, that is correct. But F is hepatic portal vein. Where is F? This is not, it's a hepatic vein, but not hepatic portal vein, that is taking blood away from the liver, which will finally join with that of the inferior one. Now you see, D is hepatic portal vein is correct because the blood is collected from the intestine and finally reaching to the liver. Then F, this one is a hepatic vein. It is not a portal vein, but the normal hepatic vein that collects the deoxygenated blood from the liver and finally join with that of the inferior vein. B is pancreatic artery. It is actually duct. It is not an artery. It would have been pancreatic duct and not the. E is the hepatic So therefore this also cannot be an answer. So therefore correct answer is which one? Third one. What do you mean by absorption of food? Absorption means what? I told you substances will cross which membrane, apical membrane, go into the cell, cross the basal membrane, and then finally either reach into blood or lacteals. So that itself, now what is that? Ultimately, which will pass there? End products of digestion. You know that the person food, the basic food components, will ultimately form what? End products. End products are easily absorbed by our intestine. Okay, end products. That means carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, they will get digested into end products. The amino acids, glucose, fructose, galactose, fatty acids, all those will be, they are only the one which are capable of the food material cannot directly be absorbed. Before converting, they have to be digested and converted into simpler end products, easily absorbable form. So therefore, here it is it's a process. Now among the four options you have to see. It is a process in which end products of digestion pass through the intestinal mucus into blood and lymph. So it's correct. See the next one. It is a process in transportation of digestive food from alimentary canal to digested food. It should be to alimentary canal to blood. Okay. Passes and transport. Okay, which is near one you can take. Oh, it's a process utilizing absorb. Utilizing is actually assimilation, so it will be wrong. Now, absorption is a process by which nutrients are absorbed from large intestine. Is very negligible in absorption. Now, among the two. So, transportation of food from alimentary canal. Okay. Okay, both almost seems to be. That means seems to be having a correct answer. You can see here end products of digestion pass through the intestinal mucosa into blood or lymph. Here you see the process of transportation makes sense. Of digested food it should be from alimentary canal to the blood and lymph. Because here passes okay, but how does it pass? Because of certain transporter proteins present on the cell membrane. So basically what is occurring, passing is nothing but transporting from apical to, so almost both gives the correct answer, but you can give more emphasis on what? Transport. Okay. Now osteomalacia. This is like the bones become weak due to deficiency of vitamin D. Okay, and suppose if the deficiency occur, the bones can become so weak that it can be easily fractured. So that was about the what you call the osteomalacia. Now small finger-like projections, and they are microscopic. They are referring here to what is that? Bile. Okay, small finger-like projections with new. Okay, so here with which produces numerous microscopic projections the supply. So they refer to villi and also cells associated with microvilli. Now this villi, what does it have? Is it have supply of only blood vessels and lacteals, or large lymphatic vessels and valves? So valves is not, cannot give the correct answer. Only lacteals will not give the correct answer, neither the blood. Only capillaries will not give the correct answer. Correct answer is the blood capillary as well as lacteal, but not lacteals. A single lacteal, each villi has a single lacteal, which is in turn surrounded by blood vessels. So the next one is, which of the inactive form of an enzyme? So inactive form should have this particular, you can take it as, it should has this particular portion of a word called GEM. So the inactive form of an enzyme pepsin is what is called as the pepsinogen. Whenever enzymes are in an inactive form and then later on becomes active, however, such type of enzymes are called as zymogens. They are called as what? Zymogens. So protease means it is an enzyme that digests protein. Trypsin is a protein digesting enzyme, and peptones are the products of protein digestion. Now, see, in humans, small intestine is the longest part of alimentary canal. Okay, in humans, small intestine is the longest part. Okay, it's correct. Then absorption of digested food requires a very large surface. Even that is correct. But you can see statement B is not the reason for A. Okay, so A is true, B is wrong. Both statement A and B are correct. So absorption always requires large surface area. And this large surface area is provided both by villi and microvilli. Okay. So this completes the next question. So argentophine cells, okay, like argentophine cells will be present in. See, they are the cells that can secrete what do you call what do you call? They'll secrete certain vasoactive amines, you can tell, like serotonin and all. Where they are present basically in intestine, appendix, and all. These argentophine cells will be present. So that means not pancreas or bile duct. So they are supposed to be present in GI tract. When I tell intestine is part of GI tract. So here, so answer should be gastrointestinal tract. Crypt of liver gum. They are the glands present in small intestine. So these are the glands present in small intestine. For what they are? So intestinal juice. Another name for intestinal juice is called as. Another name for intestinal juice is called as what? Succus entericus. So crypt of Leberkan and including Brunner gland. But what is the difference between crypt of Leberkan and Brunner is Brunner secretes very less of enzyme. It secretes more of mucus, but enzymes are basically secreted by crypt of Leberkan. So correct answer will be the succus entericus. Now secretion of renin, it is a hormone in the stomach. Taline is a hormone in the salivary glands. And both options will not be an answer. Emulsification of fat. Now, what is emulsification of fat? See, always absorption requires that it should be, suppose this is a large fat droplet, where large fat droplet is broken into smaller fat droplets. Now, the surface area of all these will be very high compared to the single drop. Okay. So, that is done by emulsification is done by bile salts. And this process is called as emulsification. This process is called as emulsification. Lipase is an enzyme that digests the fats. Bile pigments are bilirubin and biliverdin, usually as a result of metabolism of hemoglobin. Bile salts are sodium taurocholate and sodium glucopholate, and also the answer will be third one. So now you can see pancreatic juice released by the pancreas. Okay. Now they are telling about an enzyme called as Lysozyme. Now this enzyme is able to break the bacterial cell wall. So this enzyme has capacity to break the bacterial cell wall. It will break. Okay. So therefore it is antibacterial in nature. It can kill the bacteria. Okay. So you can see it is one of the constituents of saliva, correct. So what it does, what is its function? They're asking what is the function. You are expected to know what is the function of lysozyme. And the function of lysozyme will be, it is antibacterial agent. The zymogen inactive form amylase like this. Amylase is starch digesting, lipid digesting, and inactive. Enzymes cannot be an answer. Lysozyme is produced. So you can know that highest concentration of lysozymes will be actually the TS. It is almost present in every part of the body except for in the brain. But here, what happens here is lysozyme in the saliva. So as you consume the food, if the food has any bacteria, so lysozyme has capacity to kill the bacteria. In intestine, food materials are absorbed through what? So here, you know that what they're asking is absorbed through submucosa will belong. You know that the mucosa layer has villi. Okay, and absorption occurs through villi. So you can tell absorption occurs through mucosa layer, you can tell, or villi you can tell. Okay, it cannot be submucosa because submucosa is below the mucosa layer. Substance tentacular cells irrelevant here because it's a certain cells. The gastric glands that releases the gastric juice. Now you see this question. Most abundant mineral in animal body will be which one? Calcium. Now see here where the liver is located in human body. So first of all, liver is located in abdominal cavity, but they're asking above diaphragm. Above diaphragm will be wrong. In thoracic cavity, what will be there in thoracic cavity? Heart, lungs, mediastinum, these are the structures present in thoracic cavity, so it's incorrect. Above the thoracic cavity also will be incorrect. Now it will be present in the abdominal cavity just below the diaphragm, that to which side? Right side. Okay. So because of the liver is present, even the right kidney will be slightly lower level compared to the left kidney. So this is about the fourth option is correct. So directly here you can take an NCERT value. The food once we eat will be stored inside the stomach for 4 to how many hours? 5 hours it can be stored. Answer is third one. And you should know that whenever the food has a lot of amount of fat, then its retention in the stomach is going to increase. What is the medium of human saliva? They're asking actually what is the pH of the human saliva. You know that pH of the human saliva is how much? 6.8, slightly less than the neutral pH called 7. So slightly less means it will come as acidic. Slightly more means it will be basic. So answer is what? Acidic. So pH of human saliva is what? Is acidic. Whereas you can see bile is basic, pancreatic juice is basic, intestinal succus entericus also is basic. Whereas blood is also slightly alkaline, that is 7.4. So highly acidic means comparatively will be pH 1.8 in the stomach. This is the possible. Highly acidic you cannot tell. It is also acidic pH is there in the. It's not one. It can. It is depends upon the average. It is the average value. That is 1.8. Epithelial lining of the stomach of vertebrates. Now you know that the stomach it is see what is released in the stomach is HCl. So HCl will be released by the stomach. Now this HCl is supposed to have very low pH. I already told it will be pH of 1.8. At this low pH, it can damage the surrounding. At this pH can damage the surrounding tissues. But how come that the surrounding tissues are not damaged? Now you cannot tell that hydrochloric acid is too dilute. It is in such a way that the pH of the gastric juice should be 1.8. Epithelials is they cannot be resistant. The cells cannot develop a resistance for this chemicals. HCl is neutralized by alkaline. Gastric juice itself, I told, is pH what 1.8. Then how it will neutralize? It cannot neutralize. So these two are. Last you see epithelial covering has a what covering? Mucus membrane covering this there. Because of this mucus secretion itself, there is protection. Okay, what is protected? The surrounding tissues in the stomach is protected. Now you have to see what fourth one. Whatever, choose the incorrect statement regarding human digestive system. What is demanded is incorrect statement with reference to normal person. These are normal person's features in this which are incorrect. Human saliva is slightly acidic. Good. It is correct. Slightly it is acidic. Human beings have 4 pairs of salivary glands. So this is supposed to be wrong. Submandibular, sublingual, and parotid glands will be 3 pairs are supposed to be there. One on right and the right. So therefore 4 pair will be wrong. Quantity of saliva in adult man is supposed to be correct. It is. Enzyme amylase present is responsible for breakdown of starch into simple sugars. Correct. Okay. Here, simple sugar, they refer to maltose. Now, simple sugars, it cannot be monosaccharides here. It is referring to maltose. Okay. So, therefore, correct answer is 2. Choose the most appropriate option to describe composition of human saliva. Human saliva is hydrolases. First of all, hydrolases are digestive enzymes. Amylase is a kind of hydrolase only. So both is same. Amylase is a class of an enzyme belonging to a class called hydrolase. So, however, many other substances are also there in the saliva, which are those. So, electrolytes are there like minerals, sodium, potassium. This is correct. Amylase is correct, which is also called talin, correct. Lysozyme is there, that will be antibacterial nature. Mucus also will be there. Okay, this will give a more better list compared. This is showing only one amylase and mucus. It's not showing electrolyte list. So this cannot be selected. Only talin will be wrong. So it has all this combination. Got electrolytes, amylase, talin, okay, lysozymes and mucus. So accumulation of fecus in the rectum and distension of the rectal wall initiates the feeling of defecation, and you should know that it is due to which reflex? Defecation reflex. So this defecation reflex is it's actually a nervous stimulus itself, which will cause the defecation. Defecation is releasing of undigested food from the body. Deamination has no rule. It is a chemical reaction actually occurring in the liver, where the ammonia and all are produced from amino acids. So irregular movement of bowel. This is a irregular movement is a condition. Okay, irregular bowel movement. So this is about the fecus material. The fecus material is excreta, and how it is released outside the body is due to the reflex called as defecation. Correct answer is so here, next one. Study thoroughly the following questions and identify which of the following are correct and incorrect. Here you should not only tell which is correct and neither you have to tell which is incorrect. You have to just assort them, that is put one side which is correct and put another side which is incorrect. Good. So now you see bile salt present in bile is responsible for emulsifying of the fat in small intestine. Is correct. Bicarbonates of sodium and potassium would be wrong, are bile salts. Okay. Then pH of bile is 8.6, but in gallbladder, correct it is. Flow of bile from liver takes place through hepatic duct, correct, common bile duct, hepatopancreatic ample, and finally the first part of intestine. That is correct. That is duodenum. Proximal part is first. Gallbladder in rat. See, in rat and horse, there is no gallbladder. So there is no question of storing. So how many are correct? 1 is correct, 3 is correct, 4 is correct. See here, 1 correct, 3 correct, 4 are correct, whereas the remaining ones are incorrect. So therefore, the correct answer will be third one. And here it cannot be only bicarbonates of sodium, but here they have also included other. So correct answer is third one. Now you see succus centricus. What is succus centricus? Intestinal juice. Intestinal juice is called as succus centricus. What is goblet cells? Unicellular glands. What is crypt of lubricants? Glands of intestine that will secrete intestinal juice called crypt of lubricants. So correct answer will be second. Islet of Langerhans. They can be alpha, beta, and delta and all. So they are in pancreas. Pennant cells. These are also cells responsible for secreting lysozyme. So now succus centricus is secreted by crypt of lubricant. These are the intestinal glands. Deficiency of which vitamin causes? See here, you should know directly that they also found that, like, it's also known that vitamin D deficiency may lead to diabetes. Okay. Which enzyme is responsible for digestion of milk in infants? It will be children. Children, infants means milk is digested in by renin. Okay. Whereas in adult, it can be digested by proteolytic enzymes. So here, this enzyme is responsible for digestion of milk. So renin causes curdling of milk, and it is present in an inactive form priorly called prorenin. So prorenin is converted into renin, active renin. Inactive prorenin is converted into active renin. And this is the one present only in the children. And in the children, it will be helping in digestion of milk proteins. And even curdling of milk requires calcium, one of the important mineral necessary for curdling of milk. And others you see here, pepsin, trypsin, these all are protein digesting. This is just various proteolytic enzymes. Now you see source of vitamin A, carrot, all see vitamin A is related to which of the substance? Keratin. Okay. So here you can see keratin rich can also be the one which is rich in vitamin A also. Milk products all are rich in vitamin A. And here carrot is rich, mango, apple. Small amount keratin is yeast. So no vitamin A. Yeast is good for producing vitamin B. Yeast is good for producing vitamin B. Symbiotic bacteria. Symbiotic bacteria, first you should know that they can also be called as normal flora, or they are basically good bacteria present in the digestive system. Now here where they are supposed to be present, or where they are present actually colon of the large intestine. Now they can synthesize vitamin B, I told. Now all these will come under vitamin B complex, B12, B2, B1. So therefore all of this answer will be all of this. So the bacteria present in the intestine, they can produce vitamin B, and at the same time they can uh, produce also vitamin K, I told, which in the earlier questions. So correct answer is fourth. Now next you see bile juice is stored in the in which of the organ in human body. Now bile juice, actually bile juice is produced in the liver, but it is stored temporarily. So it is a temporary storage of bile. Temporary storage of bile occurs in gallbladder. Now gallbladder is also a muscular organ. It is a muscular organ, and you know, when the muscles of the gallbladder will contract, that can lead to release of bile. And how does it contract? Under the influence of a hormone called cholecystokinin. Okay, so therefore, gallbladder is the temporary storage site for the bile juice that is secreted in the liver. Now, bile juice is secretedly or stored. Secreted is different, storage is different, right? So kidney and pancreas, therefore will not be an answer. Why liver will not be an answer? Because it is secreted in the liver. It is not stored in the liver. Okay. So now that means when the liver is produced, the left hepatic and right hepatic duct will join in common hepatic duct. Then there will be gallbladder. Gallbladder has a duct called cystic duct. They will unite and form the common bile duct. And therefore here the bile which is secreted here in the liver will be flowing in the gallbladder and get stored there. A young infant may be feeding entirely on mother's milk. An infant is feeding on mother's milk, and you know that milk is white in color, but stools of that infant are yellowish. Why? You all should know that when bile is secreted in digestive system, it has certain pigments in them. Okay, those are called as bile pigments. Because of that bile pigment, here what do you mean? Because the stools. Here we mean actually excreta, not excretory waste or nitrogenous waste. It's called as what? Excreta. This excreta becomes yellow in color due to bile pigments. And you should know two known bile pigments will be biliverdin and bilirubin. Now here are some equations. Which of the kind of biochemical equations are given? Which of the following, that is metabolic reactions occurring in these all are the example given here is the metabolic reactions given in the during digestion. First one is nucleic acids, nucleotidase. They're asking the one which is correct. First you note that. Which of the following enzymatic reaction is incorrect? Incorrect means here nucleic acids cannot be acted upon nucleotidase, but it will be acted upon by an enzyme called nucleases. Instead of nucleotidase, it would have been nucleases, then it would have been correct. So first one is incorrect. Now fat, it is acted on lipase to ultimately form glycerol and diglycerides, fatty acids and triglycerides, and even monoglycerides. Ultimately, lipase is correct. Starch is digested by amylase is correct. This protein is digested by pepsin also is correct. So what is not correct, what is incorrect is nothing but nucleic acids. Nucleic acids is digested by nucleases and not nucleotides. Then what do nucleotides digest? Nucleotides digest nucleotide. Okay. To nucleoside plus phosphate. So here what will happen if the secretion of parietal cells of gastric glands is blocked with inhibitor. So first there are some inhibitor substances. Okay. Now inhibitor substance block the activity of enzyme, that you know. They block the activity of enzyme. Now what will happen if that inhibitor chemicals are present? Gastric juice will be deficient of chymosin, it is incorrect. Gastric juice will be deficient of pepsinogen. See, inhibitor is not blocking the gene expression. The pepsinogen is produced, but it is blocking the functioning of. So that means, see here, what will happen? Now, first you should know 2 points here. There is a secretion of parietal cells and there is an inhibitor. And these parietal cells belong to which gland? Gastric gland. Now, you know that there are parietal cells and chief cells. Now, parietal cells will secrete what? HCl. Now, there is absence of HCl secretion, correct? Then, inactive pepsinogen is not converted into active. I know that I already told that inactive pepsinogen is converted into active pepsin with the help of which one? HCl. Okay. So with the help of HCl. Now when HCl has become less, why? Because parietal cells are blocked by which chemical? Inhibitor molecules, because of which parietal cells can't secrete HCl. So HCl will be less. When HCl is less, pepsinogen cannot convert into pepsin. Now enterokinase will be released, will not be released. Enterokinase is an intestinal enzyme. Okay. So however, parietal cells do not secrete enterokinase. Intestinal glands will secrete enterokinase. Which part of small intestine opens into large intestine? You know that small intestine is duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. And then comes the large intestine. There's a cecum, that to cecum. So therefore, it is the ileum will be an answer. Duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. The proximal part will be duodenum. Distal end will be the ileum, whereas middle will be jejunum. Colon is nothing but referring to large intestine. Which of the following elements is essential for the life of animals and not for plants? So here they are just comparing. So among these four substances, there is one substance which is only essential for animals and it is of no use or not essential for plants. So among these four, you have to select that one that does not have any use for the plant, but what is that? But it is useful for animals. Now you see. The one which is not useful for plant is the iodine. So correct answer is what? Iodine. Iodine, you know, in animals is very useful. It is very essential for production of a hormone, that is the thyroid hormone. Okay. So even in case of say larva, if larva has to metamorphose into adult, for that also what is required is iodine is required. So therefore now for plants do not require the iodine. So correct answer will be the second one. Okay then. Digestion of starch starts from mouth. Correct, it is because the salivary glands will secrete the saliva, which consists of the enzyme that digests the starch. Okay. So digestion of starch starts from mouth. Whereas A is the site of digestion mainly for B. Okay, so here what is there is, they have already given a statement called that in the mouth what occurs is digestion of starch will occur. Okay, Now, leaving the mouth, the next site they have given, which is a site for, it is a particular organ in which the digestion will occur. So, you have to choose an organ and you have to choose the molecule that is digested in this organ. So, best will be what? Stomach. In that, what molecule is digested? Protein. And stomach, starch will not digest. Small intestine. So in sequence, after the mouth is basically comes the stomach. So you're not choosing the small intestine. Small intestine starch also you're not going to choose. Okay, choose the correct option to complete the given statement. So therefore, stomach is mainly, but in intestine you see proteins can be digested, starch, nucleic acids, okay, simpler forms. So main digestion in the stomach will be protein. So correct answer will be the first one. The largest gland, you should know that they actually refer to exocrine gland. At this point, they're not expecting thyroid gland, they're expecting an answer. The one which is the largest exocrine gland. The largest exocrine gland is the liver. Now you see, opening of hepatopancreatic duct is guarded by a sphincter. So you should know that this is a common bile duct. Got? Common bile duct will join with pancreatic duct. So pancreatic duct, common bile duct. They both will join and form hepatopancreatic duct. Now this will swell a little bit called ampulla and therefore it will be guarded by sphincter because all the time the bile and pancreatic juice cannot be separated. So from here what comes is the bile. From here what comes is the pancreatic juice. So both will get mixed in where? Hepatopancreatic duct. And it will become slightly widened, it's called as ampulla. Now they're asking what is the sphincter present here. Now here there are 2 points sphincters are present. So this is one point where the sphincter is present and this is another point where the sphincter is present. So this point is called as sphincter of Oddi. But they're asking this one, which is the sphincter of Oddi given in your NCERT book. So therefore, what is an answer here? Sphincter of Oddi. So opening of the hepatopancreas is guarded by sphincter of Oddi. Now next will be see 2 hormones they are given here, secretin and one more is cholecystokinin. They are released by, of course, in the small intestine. They are secreted in small intestine, that too where? Duodenum. Now you should know that they have 2 functions. One is secretin, another is cholecystokinin. Secretin will stimulate bicarbonates in pancreatic juice. Okay. On the other hand, cholecystokinin, what it does, I told you, it goes and binds to the smooth muscles of gallbladder, contracts it, and therefore what is released is bile juice released. From where? Gallbladder. So therefore, secretin and cholecystokinin, these are the 2 hormones released by small intestine. Within the small intestine, it is released by proximal part of the small intestine called duodenum. With reference to a normal human being, it is incorrect vessel. Here you see, human saliva slightly acidic, correct. Human secretes this much saliva per day, this is also correct. Saliva secretes 6 pairs of, okay, it will be incorrect. It breaks down, cook. So amylase will break down the starch and finally convert into maltose. The correct answer is the third one, the one which is incorrect. Correct? Now here you should label what is A. A will be, as you know, this will be incisor, but D will be incisor. You have to select where is D. D is the incisor. Directly you can go also to directly also you can approach an answer, or you have to say individual and answer. So incisor, this is the unique one among the four. It is not repeating anywhere. It's a unique one. So then you are selecting C is canine, and then B is premolar, and E is molar. So therefore the second one is correct. Now you see, what do you mean by dental formula? So arrangement of teeth in the order of it, but still it is not complete. In what order? In the upper and lower jaw, in the order of incisor, canine, premolar, and molar. Arrangement only in upper will be wrong, only in the lower will be wrong. Just arrangement also will be wrong, both in the upper and lower half of the jaw. Suppose in the upper half of the jaw, two incisor, in the lower half also, then one canine, two premolars, three molars, three molars, like this. So this is how the formula comes. So correct answer is therefore the second one. So students, next question. Juice containing sodium glycocholate. There is one juice they are telling it contains sodium glycocholate. You know it is, what is that? It is bile salt. Therefore, which juice this should be? It should be what? Bile juice. Is released under the influence. Now what happens is, how is this bile salt released? Bile salts is present in bile juice. Then how it is released? Because of an hormone called cholecystokinin. Secretin stimulates bicarbonate secretion in pancreas. Enterogastron will inhibit the movement, gastric motility, and whereas enterocrinin will stimulate the intestinal juice secretion. So next is, these are parts given here. So you can see the one which is not repeating at all. The maximum, the one that is not repeating here, most of them are repeating, then you have to go for individual. So now D is esophagus. Now search where D is esophagus. So these all are the answer. Now A is fundic region. So D is esophagus and A should be fundic, will be you're arriving, slowly approaching for an answer here. Then B is cardiac. So B is cardiac, fundic, and pyloric. Correct answer will be what? Third one. Okay, next one you see, why the stool of breastfeeding baby is yellowish. Same only, it is answered in a different way. Stools are nothing but excreta right now. Undigested food matter, that is defecated, is feces material. Okay, feces. Due to undigested milk protein, it is not. Because the milk protein is undigested, it will be yellowish, will not be an answer. Here, yellowish means bilirubin is there. Some pigment is there, that's why the excreta or the stools or the feces is getting yellow. Due to pouring of pancreatic juice, no, pancreatic juice does not have any pigments. Now, so due to bile pigments present in bile juice will be an correct answer. Due to enzymes are not pigments, so they don't provide yellow color. So this is not an answer. So correct answer will be the third one. Now, what is the function of enterokinase? They're asking. Now, function of enterokinase is it activates directly. You should know the answer here. It activates trypsinogen to trypsin, because trypsinogen is an inactive form of an enzyme. It is a zymogen, so it has to convert into active form called trypsin. Means which enzyme should be there? Enterokinase. It is secreted in small intestine itself. Okay, this one is actually secreted in small intestine. This is secreted by pancreas. Okay, so therefore, why not pepsin? This is HCl. Pepsin to chymotrypsin is irrelevant, and chymotrypsin to pepsinogen is irrelevant. Only the first one will be the correct answer. So now, characteristics of mammalian liver. What is the speciality of mammalian liver? Kupffer cell is speciality because there are phagocytes present in mammalian liver. It is correct, but you see leukocytes, it is not an answer. Leukocytes are present almost everywhere in the body. Leukocytes present everywhere. This is a part of hepatic lobules. Canalicula, bile canalicula, if you consider it's a part of hepatic lobule. Now, Glisson's capsule, correct liver. Come first. Both are now relevant to liver. So correct answer will be third. Fourth one, you see leukocytes. Leukocytes are a very general group of cells called WBCs. They're present throughout the body. They're not specializations of this liver. So therefore, this also because of leukocyte, you're not selecting the fourth one. So the one which is selecting is Glisson's capsule and covered cells. Covered cells are what? They are phagocytes. Phagocytic cell present in liver. Now you see, what are the trace compounds? Means micronutrients will be minerals and vitamins, which are required in very less quantity, but they are very essential. The dental formula in human beings: 2, 1, 2, 3. Now you all can see here. Go through the following statement regarding physiology of digestion and identify whether they are true or false. It means you should just assort them and separate them. Separate them, assort them as to which is true and which is false. Choose an appropriate option from the codes given below. Okay, just see here. Largest variety of hydrolyses are present in omnivores or herbivorous. Okay, this is good. Herbivorous lack certain digestive enzymes. You can see certain digestive enzymes in the herbivorous will be supported by bacteria. So correct. This is true. In fact, this is true. Then digestive enzymes are 4 types: amylase for carbohydrate digestion, protein digestion, proteinases for lipid digestion, lipases, and for nucleic acid digestion, nucleases. Even this is true. Now you see third one. Proteinases are known as proteases, which are released in inactive form because proteins, either cellular expressible, are hydrolyzed by them. Okay, so these are released in active form. See, remember those enzymes that digest the protein first will be released in inactive form. Otherwise, they'll start digesting our own body components. To prevent that, first they will be released in an inactive form. But here, what they are telling there is they are released in active. So this is supposed to be false. Okay. So now hydrolysis and cholecystitis are secreted by exocrine. But remember, cholecystokinin is a hormone released in the intestine, whereas hydrolysis are released by pancreas. So because of it, it's not completely correct. 1 and 2 are true, while 3 and 4 are false. Okay, one more thing, the students, one minute, students. Here you see, these both are correct. What is the dental formula of human beings? Can you see? I want to correct this answer. Below you should, you notice properly. It should be below in the lower jaw they have given 2, 1, 2, 3. So it will be incorrect. So what is the correct answer is 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. This is one is correct. So answer will be first one noted down. So hydrochloric acid HCl is secreted by which of the cells? Parietal cells, or also called oxyntic cells. Whereas chief cells and peptic cells, they will secrete what? Pepsin. Okay. So goblet cells are unicellular glands. Okay. Now see here, deficiency of tocopherol, vitamin E. Tocopherol in the human body causes infertility, whereas beriberi, vitamin B1, pellagra, vitamin B3, there is niacin, scurvy is vitamin C. Infertility is inability to produce offspring. Now you see, DASH is a protein deficiency disorder. So kwashiorkor, it is a protein deficiency disorder. When I say marasmus, it is not only protein deficiency, also energy. Lack of energy also is there. So who can look tired and very energyless is which one? Marasmus. Okay. So kwashiorkor is for protein deficiency. So which of the following disorders and characteristics is correctly matched? Cystic fibrosis, thick mucus is formed in the respiratory passages as well as even the digestive system also, so it is correct. Sickle cell means brain deterioration, anemia, beginning in the month of, this also is incorrect. Achondroplastia is dwarfism, a kind of dwarfism, even this is incorrect. Huntington disease is not skeletal, it is degeneration of nerve cells as the age passes, so correct answer will be first one. Okay, next you see. Which of the following enzyme breaks the nucleotides? You just should note whether it is a nucleoside or a nucleotide. So if it's nucleotide, then enzyme will be nucleotidase. If it's nucleoside, then enzyme will be nuclear. Amylase is for starch and lactase is for digestion of lactose. Okay, for those who won't be an answer, correct answer will be second one, nucleotidase. The next is hormone that stimulates the stomach to secrete gastric juice. Okay. Entero. This is a gastrin. Gastrin is a hormone that stimulates gastric. This is opposite. Enterogastron is preventing the gastric glands from secreting the gastric juices. Enterogastrin is an inimical function as well. So this is not an answer. Renin is a kidney hormone and enterokinin